I'm Rachel Peterson, and you might be thinking that you need a lot of money to start a business. And that's not the case. Stay tuned and I'll show you why. I am not a fan of the story of the struggling entrepreneur. I don't believe that we were made to struggle. Most people think that they can't start a business until they've earned enough money to invest large sums into it. Now, let me tell you, a successful business should be built carefully in one aspect, and that is financially. I bootstrapped my businesses. That was really important to me, to make sure that it was profitable, that my businesses actually paid me. I think that it should be built carefully with your finances, not wasting money on things that aren't going to move the needle in your business. Focus on the things that are going to bring in revenue. And on the same note, also not carefully, meaning ready, fire, aim. This is something I've done a lot in my business. And what I didn't realize is that over time, I would learn a lot of things that would make it easier to aim better and fire faster. But in the beginning especially, there's so much that you don't know, and you can find yourself on a rabbit trail searching for answers and the best way to do things. Sometimes you just need to do something and learn the lessons as you go. About 3 years ago, I joined a community for entrepreneurs as I started to learn that entrepreneurship was a thing. And I remember how many conversations were focused on corporations, names of businesses, websites, logos, investing into branding, so many things that ultimately don't move the needle. And despite the fact that there were so many coaches saying you needed all of those things in place, there was a little voice in my head that said, that doesn't seem right. Why don't you build the business first and then build out the website, then build out the logo once you're certain what you stand for, who you're going to attract, what your signature product is even. And so I went my own path, even though everyone else was investing into those things before they even had a product or even a single customer. Now, I look back at the conversations I had with those friends at that time and discovered that unfortunately many of their businesses failed to launch. Yet I look at my business, which has now done very well. I have 2 successful businesses, and I personally believe it's because I had the mantra of making sure that I moved the needle in my business first, and then went back to the things as I had a little more clarity, a little more guidance, and as I was surrounded by people who had been there before me to help me know what to look out for. I'm not a believer in having everything figured out. I believe sometimes the best decisions are figured out along the way. So as you listen to my story, you might be asking yourself, what does move the needle in my business? Now, there are really only 3 things that ultimately move the needle, because if we're gonna be honest, the needle is basically revenue. Revenue is the needle of your business. It's the lifeblood. It's absolutely everything and determines whether your business is going to succeed or whether it's just a hobby or a dream that's never going to take off. So there are 3 things that move the needle in your business, meaning revenue. First, we have product creation. When you build products that you're able to put out to the world, that means it's an opportunity to have an exchange in exchange for money, an exchange of value. It's amazing. Number 2, marketing of your amazing product. Marketing is the process of explaining to people how awesome this is, how it's going to benefit their lives, and why they should ultimately want to create an exchange of value. It can be done with social proof, it can be done with testimonials, but ultimately your goal is to get that product out there into the world. And number 3, sales. Now, sales and marketing are kind of like peanut butter and jelly. They're not that good without each other, but ultimately they're both needed in order to have an exchange of value. Sales could mean potentially getting on the phone and closing a deal if you're in a client or a service-based industry, or if you have a product that you need to get into the hands of people, which basically means increasing the revenue in your business. And it's done only after you've created your product, you've marketed it to the world, then it's time for the actual exchange of money from hand to hand. So in summation, there are 3 ways to truly move the needle in your business. And those are product creation, marketing, and sales. Everything else is wonderful and awesome, but branding, websites, headshots, logos, all of that can wait until you've moved the needle in your business and it's easier to afford all of those things. All of these steps are crucial to building a successful business. Now, I've gone a little more in depth into these topics for you in my free ebook, The Bootstrapping Business Owner's Tactical Guide, and you can get it by clicking the link below. Make sure you give this a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment so that I know that you're watching and how much you loved this. I'll catch you on the next episode.